It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Happy Thursday. Nielsen, Cass, and Gage back with you once again. Episode 301 of the Two Guys and a Goalie podcast and live stream on the Nielsen Media CoolBet Network, brought to you by our great partners at CoolBet. If you want to be betting on the National Hockey League playoffs, you might as well be doing it at CoolBet. When you go to the website, coolbet.com, sign up for an account, enter the code 2GUYS, the number 2, and the word guys, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Boys, what's up? How you doing?
Awesome. Great. It's almost race week. Great game by the Oilers.
It's almost race week.
It's good. It was fun time last night at the game. It's crazy, man. The town is really emotional. Let's just say that. It's from the depths of despair after game one and getting out coached to order the rings. Where's the parade route in a few days' time? I love it.
I got a lot of Oilers in 5. A lot of those. I heard them last night on the post-game show with Cass and Gazzola too. Cass, I guess it's crazy how much a series can just flip, hey?
The emotions are real, and they are volatile. But it was, it's always, you know how I know people are fired up is when you get, because you always have, like, we have the regulars that typically call in, or people that on occasion, like, will call in after a game, good or bad. And I feel like Jeff Walker, post-game Ranger, had his work cut out for him, because it was just, I could just hear him, because I can hear him talk, like we can hear him talking in the background. You don't hear him live on air, but like if he's saying something to us or telling us like which caller's coming through, and I could just hear him like just picking up the phone and just the phone just going nuts back there. So when that happens, you're like, okay, people are really, really into this. So, which they should be, and it was exciting. I mean, scary because they just about did the same thing, almost same way by taking bad penalties and sitting back, but. Different outcome, and just that little bit of a different outcome just completely changed how people view not just that game, but the series and apparently life. So, it's pretty fun.
I had somebody who was legitimately mad that I took Monday off during the playoff run. They're like, "How dare you take Monday off during a playoff run?" I was just like, "Man, I'm just trying to have a little bit of a life. Like I work a lot. It was nice to get away." But people were, it was wild. It was, and the atmosphere there was great last night. I mean, I see some of my buddies down there in the crowd having fun. I'm like, oh man, it'd be real fun to get down there and kind of let one go for a night. But I do very much enjoy watching the Jumbotron of those games and just see how excited adults are to get on that Jumbotron. Like, I don't know if it's booze driven or whatever, but it's like all of them won the 50-50 every time they get on there. And I love it. I love the pure enjoyment of being in that moment. It's special, right? That's special.
It's you know what? That's one of my, and not just hockey, but other sports too. Like, I mean, there's the stuff like the brawls we saw the other day after the loss, but one of my favorite things about sports is it can be such a great uniter in that it's like you have a massive group of people all getting together and pretty much all of them cheering for the same thing, hoping for the same thing, and it's just you have people from different cultures, people from different backgrounds, people from just all sorts of different walks of life. Maybe, two people that would never, ever talk to each other or agree on just about anything. But they're in that same building, getting just as excited to be on the Jumbotron, getting just as excited to be there and getting just excited for a win. It's one of the beautiful things, in my opinion, about sports and about hockey in general, where it's just like, man, you can get a whole city behind a team. And it's like, when can you ever get a whole city behind anything? Like,
exactly.
Only sports. It's like there's so much that's so divisive, and people have so many different opinions, which is good. I mean, it's good to have different opinions on stuff, but people like hate other people that have different opinions. And it's just, I don't know, it's so fun for me just to be able to see that. I always tell people, I mean, in my opinion, it's like, it's a little bit of what heaven is going to be like, is like where you got just all sorts of people from different backgrounds, and just you're all cheering for the same thing together with just enjoyment and joy. So it's just awesome. I love it.
Gager, how similar was last night's game to game one? Like biggest differences, biggest similarities in your opinion?
I can't compare the two, Dusty, because of my experiences. One, I was laying on the couch watching it by myself, where I don't turn the volume on just to have my own kind of perspective of the game, and it's emotional and stuff. But when you're there, and I was there in full capacity as an Oilers fan, I just let loose. I was jumping and I was cheering. I had the "Let's Go Oilers" going, and it was. I hated it. It was completely out of my control. My heart rate. The Fitbit said, "Hey, do you want to monitor this workout now?" Yeah, it looks like you're working out right now. I'm drinking wine and having popcorn. I'm not. That's the furthest thing. But my heart rate's going crazy. Both games were similar. Yes, now that I sit back and watch, but man, are they ever just gut-wrenching it's a great series. The Kings are a really, really good team. They're doing a lot of good things. Korpisalo is a really good goalie. This matchup is I do believe this is going to go 7. They match up there so well. It's just like in boxing. Sometimes you get the two right opponents, and it's something special. So great series, love it. It's I can't wait for game 3.
Gager, I gotta say too, because I was in the press box on Monday for that one, and I probably was the only guy. Like I was trying to temper myself.
Yeah.
I got to try to look to everyone like I'm kind of being impartial, but I think I jumped up a couple of times, and I mean the goal that was called back, the high stick, like I was out of my seat, and I was just like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that up here, but I just couldn't help myself, because it's just like, yeah. I mean, and I know, and I mean, it's the little Oilers fan in me since the time I was a kid, and the hockey fan too, right? Like those big moments, they're just, I don't know. It's just fun to be able to get into it. So
yeah. I wondered, like I was sitting there and I go, God, I'm really emotional about this game. And yeah, of course I like the Oilers. I was a part of the team, and I feel like I'm more of a fan now anyways. But it wasn't so much I'm not a hard, like some of the guys sitting around me, they're hardcore Oilers fans. But I think, like you said, Gus, you're in the building. You want to see the enjoyment of other people around you. Like you're feeding off that. And more of my Oiler fandom, I think, goes towards everyone having a good time rather than just the disappointment. So, I mean, when Desharnais got that stiff arm to the chest late in the game, I jumped up and I was I was yelling at the ref, and I'm like, he can't hear me. You can't hear me. What am I doing? So my daughter's there, and she's feeding off.
Yeah,
and she's like,
I'm trying to kill you and make you sit back down. Don't embarrass me.
No, she was yelling at the ref too. It was a terrible call, but no, it was a lot of fun, man. It's great. I wish everyone could enjoy a game at the rink, because there's nothing like it.
Did you say you were drinking wine at the game?
Oh, I'm high class, buddy.
Really? I've never gone to a game with a buddy drinking wine. I don't know where we come out on drinking wine at a sporting event. That's interesting to me.
Yeah,
you got to remember, Dusty, Gager's classing it up in the alumni lounge.
Oh, in the alumni lounge.
Yeah,
okay,
they do a pretty good job of.
Everybody loves their wine in the lounge. Like all you peasants with your $12 Coors Lights. Like, come on. All right.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, if when in Rome, Dusty, when in Rome.
Actually, you know what? It does remind me one time. I was home at Christmas, long time ago now. I think Tam and I were just together. I had no kids. And we went to a Kootenay Ice game, and my one buddy, the wuss, we're all having beers, and he comes rolling in. He's got this glass of wine sitting like 6 rows up just in the regular seats. And we hadn't seen him for like 6 months. And we look at him, we're like, what the hell are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm on to the red now. And we were like 30, 32 years old, 31. It's not like everybody's drinking wine at home. He's just like, no, I drink wine when I'm out now. I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about?
There's the episode name, On to the Red.
On to the red.
Oh God, that's great.
All right, Leon Draisaitl, cast. Let's start with Leon Draisaitl here, man.
Beast mode.
Yeah, last year he did it on one leg. He's doing it again. He's putting up like all-time great playoff numbers to start a career, and he came out man on a freaking mission last night, didn't he?
Oh man, I like he's been so fun to watch because it's like every shift he's engaged and engaged physically. Like it's not, and he couldn't like the effort was there last year, and the point production was there last year, but he was doing it on one leg. He couldn't do things physically like he's doing now. Like the level of his physical violence increased so dramatically where I'm like, this is amazing because he's still the same skill player, but I'm like, now he's not holding anything back. Like if he sees a chance to engage physically, he's doing it. Like running into Kopitar, I mean, he bumped into Kempe, physical on the forecheck, and you forget that he's a big, strong guy too. Like he's not little. He's big and he's engaged, and to see him go toe-to-toe with Kopitar in some instances, I'm just like, this is fantastic. Like he's going to keep putting up points, and he has been, as you said, at a almost historic level. And man, he's fun to watch in the playoffs. And that's that two-headed dragon where it's like, okay, well, even if Connor and they're doing a decent job of slowing him down, and he maybe isn't producing the clip that he's like, you have Draisaitl, and Draisaitl's doing it. And that's what makes the team so dangerous, is having multiple players that can beat you. And it's just so fun watching Leon do it in a way that he's still so skilled, but then it's like the physical engagement just went to another level. And as I said, I mean, he went total beast mode, is in total beast mode, and it's just awesome. It's like he was a Power Ranger, and he just went like morphin' time. He went from like being a kind of like kung fu ninja to being like a giant robot kung fu ninja. So it's awesome.
Man, I remember Power Rangers. They were huge back in the day.
I love that show.
Yeah, the original too. Like I know they've done some other, but the original was pretty ridiculous. It was good. Gager, Power Rangers or Leon Draisaitl, whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead.
I like there was always the next boss was always way more powerful from the last villain. It was great storylines. But what struck me right away, just because down one game, I love the fact that Coach Woodcroft, instead of going to the putting Connor and Leon together and trying to maybe see that, he stuck with separation and just went to the 11-7 and threw in that, sprinkled them in that fourth line, third, like mixing it up a little bit. I think that causes problems for the Kings. They can't. It's so difficult when those guys are running their own line, and then you sprinkle them with some fourth line. And really that was the reason how they won. So I love the fact that he the poise essentially of the Oilers coaching staff not going to that option right away. And it's funny. Another thing I was thinking about during, I do believe it was McClellan that said to Leon, don't be the second best player on the ice. Be the first best player on the ice.
Yeah, that back in the day. That's right.
It's his own fault.
And his this is really coming back to bite him in the ass, because Leon, if you were to say who's the best player, I mean, I think it would kind of be between Korpisalo and him, if you're looking at both sides,
if
right?
Looking at MVP, it'd be those two guys right now. Yeah.
And it's really coming back to bite him in the ass saying that. Yeah. He's probably thinking, God, why did I say that shit?
Yeah. And you know what I love, Gager, and you made the point like of Woodcroft not changing. And I don't think he had to, because they played so well for most of that game one, where it was like, why do you need to completely blow it up? You don't. And I don't think you wanted to communicate that to your team, like if not by words, just by actions. Like where it's like, if you would have went to the nuclear option, you would have been communicating to the team like, well, we need to change something. Something's wrong. When it really wasn't. Like it wasn't wrong. You did it to yourself. And so saying, no, we're gonna do what we do and do what's made us great. That last stretch of the season and getting to it. And I think, and maybe we can transition here into talking about, that flip to LA and the series moving there now. I think you're also right, Gager, in that it does give LA a little bit more challenge. And McClellan in particular, a little bit more challenge about how are you rolling out your lines? Because, if Connor all of a sudden is on the fourth line, well, do you feel comfortable sending out your fourth line against them? Or are you going to have to continually play this game of continually trying to get your matchups, and it'll maybe a little bit easier on home ice, but still, it's like, well, now you're going to have to be upsetting what you're used to doing with your four lines by trying to insert other guys in, or have Deneau play down on the fourth, or just mixing it up a little bit and trying to stay on top of that. I think creates a little bit of coaching complexity for McClellan, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle it in LA.
Yeah, it's almost, you could almost say it's harder to coach against the Oilers when they use that system at home, like, than it is on the road, because there's nothing you can do to defend it, really. You can tell people to change or whatever, but it puts a little bit puts the ball back in his court, McClellan's court, to see how he makes these matchups, and if he gets them correctly.
I just love thinking that Todd McClellan should have said years ago to Leon Draisaitl, you know what? Just be a second line center. Just support Connor however he needs to be supported, and know that you'll never be better than he is. He probably would have preferred that last night. He's on the flight home yesterday being like, God damn, yeah, no, that's good. Look, but so they were hand was forced to go to 11-7 last night, but on the very first shift, Leon Draisaitl's out there with those guys. Nice move just inside the blue line, misses the net. Ryan bangs it home. He was on the ice for the Costin goal as well. So, the hand may have been forced. Maybe they would have gone to 11-7 anyway. But either way, it just showed the advantage that the Oilers have of playing 11-7. Now, what that does do is put different defensemen into the lineup. Broberg was +2. He only played like 4 minutes. I had some people texting into my show today saying, Desharnais, and they don't think he's handling the speed very well. And he does use his size well to get himself out of some jams that maybe he gets into. I noticed that a couple times down low last night. The penalty, it looked like, or with the turnover, it looked like kind of just got a stick poked, and I guess that's just moved the puck just a little bit quicker in the playoffs. But Cass, what have you thought of Desharnais so far? Obviously in a huge role for this team now, considering what they've opened up on the right side for him.
Yeah, I thought he's been fine. And the big thing with him, and the reason I think you still want him in the lineup and playing, is penalty killing primarily. Is he's still a really good penalty killer, and he helps their penalty kill with that ranginess and positioning. I think, and as I chewed on this, because Tommy asked me the same thing, and I think I'm going to change my answer a little bit from last night on the post-game show. But I think there is something to say that the speed has been a little bit more of a challenge for him. Just a bit, during the regular season, a little bit, not a lot. And so to me, it's more, and I think you'll probably see it in LA, where you're going to have to try to protect him, and Broberg as well, a little bit more at times. But I think for Desharnais, for the most part, positionally, he's continued to be fine. As you said, maybe just up the urgency a little bit. Make sure the puck is away when it needs to be away. But his minutes probably need to be a little bit more controlled. But as the playoff goes on, I think that's pretty normal anyways, where, you're going to see the top guys play a little bit more anyways. So don't want him out of the lineup, want him penalty killing, try to protect his minutes a little bit, because you don't want him exposed.
The beauty of, I think, this year over years past, Cass, with trying to insulate those two, Desharnais and Broberg, is the Oilers are beasts on draws. So defensive draws, I think you're going to put two guys out there that are operating at over 50% to get that draw, get control, get it out. So I even have more faith with those guys on those defensive zone face-offs that the Oilers are going to gain puck possession right away. That wasn't the case in last year's. For Desharnais, I think some of those Kings they're shifty, right? They're little and they're quick little water bugs. He was getting a little step behind. When you watch Ekholm play, he takes that away. Like, he takes decisions away from defenders where they have only one option, and he just shuts it down so quickly. And I think that's something that Desharnais, I think it will come for him, but you can see the rookiness, I guess, the inexperience of the magnitude of now, where he's just kind of, oh God, I got to get this guy, and they're losing him a little bit, but I think it'll come for him, because he is a pretty good skater. Except Stretty and I talked about this while we were sipping your wine. Fancy boys. In the alumni room, that he's got to move the puck. When he sees 29 or 97, give them the puck. Don't be carrying it out of your own end. That's enough of that.
No lugging it. No lugging it. Just get it up to those guys and move a lot. You mentioned 97 in there. Cass, I know it was a focal point on the postgame show as well. One power play assist so far. Great assist, by the way. We see it all year. Great feed to Draisaitl. Hammers at home. No chance for Korpisalo on that one. But no 5-on-5 points so far. And a large part of it to me just is saying, give Danault, give Korpisalo, give Doughty some credit here. I mean, they're some of the best of the league at what they do. Cass, now they did flip it up a little bit in the third period, right? Kane had kind of moved up there and played with McDavid a little bit. Do you leave Kane up with McDavid for this game 3, or do you go back to what you started the last 2 games with? And is it just a matter of time until McDavid busts things open 5-on-5?
I mean, if Draisaitl keeps pumping away here, do you need him to bust it open 5-on-5?
Not necessarily. No.
And he got, let's look at it to say, he had a point. He had a point. He wasn't held off the score sheet either. So I do think, 5-on-5, it is a matter of time until he is able to contribute. But if all of the focus is on him and your depth players and Draisaitl are able to produce that offense, I mean, I just don't care, right? You want him to perform. If they keep playing the way that they are, I don't think it matters. Now, if LA really pushes and Edmonton takes a little bit of a step back, well, then yes, he's going to have to find ways to elevate and actually put the puck in the net. But I don't want to say it's just a matter of time. It is continually very hard to keep him off the score sheet, which is where they didn't last game. And I wouldn't be surprised, if he does have some games here that he does well.
I mean, they focus on him so much. I mean, Dursey goes to him on a 2-on-1 and allows a breakaway. It's just, it's ridiculous how these guys are so conscious of and you know what? He's still dangerous. You have to focus.
You're right. Yeah.
He gets the puck, and they're doing a great job. But I think, like we've been talking about, it's freeing up other guys on the team. I mean, look at who scored for the Oilers yesterday. 2 guys. It's coming from everywhere. So that's the big thing. I think with Connor getting contributions from other parts of the lineup where he doesn't have to put. Of course, he puts pressure on him to get points and put score goals, but just to see other things, I think it's allowing him just to kind of play. And man, I know he's not putting up the points that we normally see, but he's still playing quite well.
Draisaitl's been the best Oiler so far in this series. Who would you guys say has been the second best Oiler so far in this series?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a tough one to answer because
dare I say Derek Ryan?
Oh, wow.
Now maybe not
Ryan, right? Dare you say,
yeah, maybe not in terms of overall skill, but in terms
expectations,
of expectations and contribution to expectations, in terms of game elevation and what he has been able to do in limited minutes. I mean, he's been really, really good.
He's doing the same thing he's done all year. Essentially, he's just
I think even better though, at a level that's just a little bit more.
I'd have to go with Ekholm after seeing him live. It's just, and you get the real ISO cam on him. Damn, that guy's good, man. He just makes it. He's so evil too. I didn't realize how evil he was out there with a couple extra jabs and just a rubbing of an elbow in the corner and things like that. I'd have to say he's awesome to watch. Unreal job by him. I'd say Ekholm's second best.
Yeah, I don't mind the Ekholm answer either. But I think it just goes to show that the rest of the team has been playing pretty well. I mean, I think you can make a case. How many who we say right now hasn't been having a decent series for the others, right? There's nobody that you're looking at going, he's been brittle so far. Maybe a little bit more from Nuge. But outside of that, I mean, I think everybody's playing relatively well. Kane's got to make some better decisions, but maybe that empty netter kind of gets him going a little bit as well. Hey, Cass, you want to say anything to Yamamoto haters? Because I was reading some texts today on the show, and you were texting me so like a proud daddy. You're like, tell these guys to go to hell. You're just fired up.
Is it time to pull Yamamoto and we need to bench him and sit him and trade him in the playoff? Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. Oh my goodness. They just won a game. They should have won the first game, and they lost the first game. Nothing to do with Yamamoto. And it's like, okay, well, he's playing with guys to get points. Here's my biggest thing, and this is always the issue that I take with people who are like, oh, need more points. Have there been times when he's needed to convert opportunities that he hasn't this year? Yes. Okay, fair criticism to say, well, yeah, you need him to be able to do that. On any given goal, gentlemen, answer me this. This is a real tricky, difficult, hard question for people to grasp. How many people on the ice can get points?
3.
So if he's playing with Draisaitl and Draisaitl scoring the goal and someone else passed in the puck, is he going to get a point on the play?
Well, if he had passed the puck to that person, then yes.
Okay, so let's say you take him out here and positionally, defensively, where he's in a good defensive position that helps create the offense in the offensive zone. If he's in a good position in the offensive zone that opens up the ice, that enables the pass or enables Draisaitl to score. Like, listen, there is a reason the coaches watch more than any of us video. The staff watch more than any of us video and evaluate. And yes, they use analytics and they use many other measures to evaluate who's going to be able to play with who's doing a good job with who. He positionally, and I've said this from the first time I saw him, positionally, he is extremely solid. Rarely ever gets caught out of position, is always in a good position in the defensive zone, forces pucks to bad areas for the other team to produce offensively. Good on the forecheck. Yes, he doesn't run people over, but he's typically involved in on the forecheck. Good positionally, even when he's not F1. So the first guy in, whether he's F2 on the weak side or he's F3 strong side or pushing across or F2, depending on if they're in a 2-on-2 mode, which they go to sometimes. He's always positionally there. He contributes to what's happening, even if he's not touching the puck. If the team is winning, why the heck are you so freaking out about this? Like, no, let's blow everything up. Let's change all the lines because we just won a game. We should have won the first one in Yamamoto. We need him out of the lineup and waived now in playoffs. Let someone like, give me a break. Like, I get that you want more production from the player. Would it be good? Sure. Could he and should he? And to have success in the playoffs, does he need to start to bury a couple more of those opportunities? Well, yeah, absolutely. But like, if he didn't get a point the rest of the way and the team won the Stanley Cup, you'd still have people that'd be like, get rid of him. And I'd just be like,
This is like looking into the past and watching me talk about Jesse Puljujärvi. That's exactly what this is. Don't need to produce if you're in the top 6, right?
But no. The difference with Puljujärvi, and I'll just to go, did McDavid like playing with Puljujärvi? No. Did Draisaitl like playing with Puljujärvi? No. Do both of those guys like playing with Yamamoto? Yes. Why? Answer me that. Tell me why.
Because he doesn't take those secondary assists from them. Because they get them all. Look, I just he does a lot of things well. I mean, people just like to see him contribute offensively a little bit more, which is fair. I mean, you're going to play 17 minutes a night with the best players in the world. You should probably do better than you did in last year's playoffs, I would think. So, anyway, a fun discussion to have moving forward. Yeah. Go ahead, Gage. What are you going to say?
No, he needs to. I mean, it'd be tough for him, but he needs to be more of to produce. If you're thinking about like goal scoring, I think when he scores goals, they're only a few feet from the net.
Good at deflections. Like scored a bunch of deflections this year.
Like he does do that well. I think he could it's difficult, but gain position in front of the net for him is a huge thing. When he can find ways to get to the front and get second chance opportunities. Still, I think the Oilers haven't done a good enough job of getting in the eyes of Korpisalo. That's something
you're still seeing that. Hey, yeah, Korpisalo's good. That's why I was stunned that he got beat by that Costin goal last night. Like, because he'd been pretty automatic.
Rock solid.
Yeah. No, he's he could be an issue moving forward too. I mean, if you're looking at one area so far where the advantage would be in favor of the Kings, it's Korpisalo, just because he's been busier. He's been busier, and so he's had the chance to shine a little bit more. So something to keep tabs on as things switch to LA. All right, a couple of things I want to get to. Let's go Winnipeg Jets, then we'll get to the Leafs. Winnipeg Jets, a very convincing victory over Vegas in Game 1. They have a significant advantage between the pipes. Cass, Vegas bounce back here tonight in game 2? And if not, what does that mean for the Jets?
I think you'll make a pretty big push. I mean, if the Jets win this one, they'll win the series. I think if they go up 2-0, I think
they're a good enough team to win 2 of 5. Yeah.
I think that's it. So I think it really will come down to the push, and the push for Vegas is going to be can you beat the goalie? I mean, are you able to do that? That will be, in my opinion, the story of the game.
They only had 17 shots last game, right? Like, if you're only mustering 17 shots against Connor Hellebuck, that's not enough. Yeah, because you're not wearing him down at all. So he's already, like, I watched a little bit about that game, and he's already in the heads of those shooters. Like, they don't think that they can beat him from straightaway shots, and that mindset you have to get rid of, because if he can see it, most of the times he's going to stop it anyway. The only way you're going to score on Connor Hellebuck is second chance opportunities, screens, and deflections, and hopefully a weird bounce here or there. And that's just hard work. And the Knights wanted a men's league game 1, and it wasn't.
Well, talking with Huss on the Lock Shop, he said, A, it might have been Winnipeg's best game of the entire season. And B, Adam Lowry and Pierre-Luc Dubois were a nightmare for Jack Eichel. Like, that's 2 big, heavy centers that are all their centers are big there. You throw in whoever the routes they're running with Scheifele and Wheeler and those guys, like, big bodies for sure.
I hate to toot my own horn, but toot. I think I said in a previous episode that Jack Eichel, going into his first playoffs, I've never seen him play when it's ramped up.
Yeah, he's got to learn now. Maybe that first taste changes things. Toronto Maple Leafs, if they lose tonight at home in game 2 against Tampa Castle, are they done? I hope so. No. I hope so, but no. Taking 4 or 5 from Vasilevsky when you got
but
whatever they're going to have in net, like,
with Hedman banged up, I mean, Toronto's still got some tools where they could push.
He was on the ice for pregame skate.
But what level are you going to get him at? Like, so and Toronto still has a good enough team where they could, like, if they execute extremely well and they play extremely well, yes, they could take 4 or 6. It's very, or sorry, if they
4 or
lose,
5,
they could take
4 or 5.
Rather.
Yeah,
the potential for them to do that is still there. So it's not. I don't think it's like you're totally done. I mean, the likelihood of them coming back is extremely low. Not totally done yet. I wouldn't count them out of it being down 2-0. They have enough firepower where if things click and they can roll, then they still could do it. But I mean, likelihood really, really low at that point. So, I mean, I hope they do, because it would just be funny.
Yeah, that's a tall task. That's a tall task to beat Vasilevsky 4 out of 5 games. I mean, you sneak out 3 or 7-game series maybe, but 4 or 5, that would certainly be tough to do. Hey, before we wrap up, we do have a contest going. If you hop onto our 2 Guys and a Goalie Twitter account, I've already retweeted it. The boys have retweeted as well. Hop on there at 2 Guys and a Goalie on Twitter, and there's details. Cass, we're teaming up with one of your buddies who's a real estate agent. We've got 4 tickets, lower bowl tickets to the watch party on both Friday and Sunday. I think we're going to give them to 2 different winners. You'll get gift certificates to Joey's. So go down, have a bite to eat, head over to the game, and basically just check out the atmosphere, which should still be pretty awesome. That moss pit is still going to be rocking, I would think, and the watch party inside should be pretty good as well.
Should be pretty fun, and make sure you check them out. I mean, I know so it's at Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram as well, so you can enter the contest if you're more of an Instagram user that way. So on that one, make sure you on Instagram you like their post. They posted up there, like it, tag a friend in the comment. You can repost it to your stories for an extra entry into the draw. We'll be doing those today. The winners for both of those will be announced, I believe, tomorrow evening, or actually, sorry, this evening, rather. And it'll be a fun time. So make sure you get your entry in.
Yeah, don't be a Toronto Bunting. Be an Alberta bunting.
Be a Sherwood Park bunting. Yeah.
Be a Sherwood Park bunting.
No relation. I hope.
I don't know.
Bad timing for that. Yeah, that would not be good. All right, so watch for that. It's on the Two Guys in a Goalie Twitter account. And as Cass mentioned, you can find it on Instagram as well. You can get in that contest on Instagram. And they will announce some winners a little bit later on. We'll make sure to pass that along. Boys, on Monday, we will be breaking down, game 4 already. God. A lot could change between now and Monday. That should be a real fun episode. Very much look forward. What will we be talking about? Let's wrap with that.
Yamamoto.
Series tied at 2. Oh, of course, you're going to be talking about Yamamoto. You love him. You love him. I think we're going to be talking about a split. I think we'll be talking about a split.
I think we're going to be talking about early candidates for the Conn Smythe.
Yeah, I'm going with Gage on this one. I think the Oil take both.
Take both of them on the road. I like it. I think Korpisalo might stand on his head and just steal one.
See, we haven't seen Skinner do it yet, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
And we haven't seen the Oilers draw penalties, and I think that's coming.
Good point, too. That could be coming, too. Oh, it's going to be fun. Both these games should be excellent. We'll be back breaking it down Monday on Two Guys and a Goalie. Gage or Cass, hey, you're going to want to watch The Mandalorian because you'll not believe what end. I'm not going to ruin it. I won't ruin it for you. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you guys next week. We'll recap it. Make sure you watch it before Monday. See you guys later.
Okay. Later. Bye.